everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's Katima. It's nice to see you again. We are back for our first official lesson in self improvements or self mastery, or in other words, self discipline. So before we get into today's lesson, please make sure that you have liked this video. Thank you so much in advance. Also, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and don't forget to hit that post notification bell so as soon as a new video drops, you are notified. Thank you. And also, if you have not watched our last video, I recorded the intro just to kind of basically discuss what we'll be going throughout this channel so you know what you are getting yourself into. If you have not watched that video, I will drop that link below so that you are able to click it and explore. Okay, guys, so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm ready. This first lesson today is going to be about the first step when it comes to self improvement or self mastery, which is self analysis. I have my notes, I have my resources for those who like to clock it, and for those who like to fact check. Yeah, I have that for you as well today. And I also have my tea that I will be drinking. I am a herbalist and I did a little customized blend of sage, rosemary, and mugwort. This is for my cognitive health, to increase my memory, my focus, and to get my creative juices flowing for y'all so that we could just flow with it, okay? So I will be sipping this throughout. Hot right now. We're gonna put that down before I burn my taste buds. Okay, so personal analysis. So, what is personal analysis? It's basically like an inventory. You know, like how when you move into a new apartment, they give you an inventory list where you have to go through all the different areas of the home to inspect, to write down anything that you see that is out of order. What is this for? This is to ensure that you don't have any responsibilities for damages that you did not do. And that is exactly what you're going to be doing for your life as well. You would basically go through different areas of your life and you would really sit there and think and contemplate and not just think, but write it out because there's something magical that happens when you write out your thoughts. It makes it more definite. It makes it more permanent. It kind of like seals that intention when you actually write it out. So that's going to be the first step. So, with personal analysis, it's basically going to boil down to first, we want to think about how we feel right now. We want to always remain in the current and remain in the present. So, how do you feel mentally, emotionally, and physically? You want to ponder about that and be very honest and transparent with yourself because the only person who is going to lose from this is you if you're not going to be completely honest with yourself. So make sure you are very transparent in what you're saying, what you are thinking, so that you can make an accurate analysis of your life. And moving forward, you can put in those steps that you need to take in order to get to that goal at the end. But you have to be very honest, completely honest with yourself and upfront. Um, Diet. That'll be the next thing that you want to talk about and think about to yourself because diet goes hand in hand with your mental health. What you feed your body is what you fuel your body with. It's also what you fuel your mind with. And over time, sometimes at first it doesn't seem like it's causing any kind of damage or causing any kind of harm, but over time, that's what you have to look at. The certain things, the certain foods that you are putting into your body, certain drinks, certain drugs that you are putting into your body, what is that effect going to look like long term? So that's the next thing that you really want to take a deep analysis with and be honest with yourself and write that out so you can actually see it on paper and read it. So you know what you want to take out or maybe what you want to kind of just do a little bit less of. Sometimes you don't have to go just cold turkey. You don't have to do that. You can do it in steps. Be honest with yourself and how you feel because you don't want to just go turkey and then have a relapse and go right back to doing what you're doing. It just slows the process. So take it in baby steps sometimes if you're that type of person, which you need to know yourself, you need to be self aware. If you're that type of person, then go ahead and take those little steps to get to that goal. Small steps always equal a big goal. Big goals. Well, shit. Yeah. Oops. Small steps always equal to a big goal at the end. Um, and then that also is going to go into habits, and we kind of just discuss that a little bit. So, what are some of your daily habits? Like from the moment you wake up until you go to sleep at night. Be honest with yourself and think about those habits and write those habits out so you can actually see how you manage your time. Because I don't want to say waste your time, because if you are a very productive person, it's not a waste of time then, but you need to see how you are managing your time currently. Because from looking at it on paper, you could kind of see where, okay, this is taking up too much time. This is taking up, okay, I want to do this, but I need to do less time of this so that I have more time for that. And then you start grouping stuff. You start getting smarter with it. You start grouping stuff together, saying, okay, I can do this and this at this time, so I can maximize this amount of time, and then I have this amount of time for myself. You get what I'm saying? Time management, that's going to come hand in hand too. Free time. What do you do in your free time? What kind of habits do you have in your free time? That is also very vital to success. What kind of habits are you doing in your free time? Are you just hanging around the house, lounging around the house, watching movies? Are you out and about, hanging out with friends, slacking off, or going out to eat, or going out for drinks, or going to parties? Are you a more studious person and you're in the libraries and you're studying, or you're taking classes and courses, or doing home study, or you spending time with family? And, how are you spending your free time? Not time where you're at home and you're cooking dinner and you doing this and you doing that. No, what your free time that you have to yourself, how do you spend that free time? Because that's also going to be some kind of representation of who you are going to be in the future. Habits that you do now is building the person for the future. Remember that. And going to bed. That's another one. Let's not skip over that. So right before you go to sleep, what kind of habits do you have? Now, this is very important when it comes to more psychologically talking, because when you go to sleep at night, sometimes the last things that you do or the last things that you hear will kind of seep into your subconscious, and then you will start to have certain type dreams about things. Then when you wake up in the morning, you're kind of confused, especially if you're a spiritual person. You're like, oh my God, I dreamed about this last night, where it may not necessarily be that, coming into your life. That may just be a reflection of what seeped into your subconscious last night, or what you were hearing while you were sleeping. That's another thing too. What are you listening to while you're sleeping? Are you sleeping with it quiet? Are you listening to frequencies? Are you listening to water sounds? Are you listening to TV? Please do not listen to the news at night while you're sleeping. I would not recommend that. I don't recommend listening to horror or like thrillers, that type stuff that's gonna have your mind like noises, lights. Your mind still reacts um, on the exterior even when you are sleeping. So you don't want to watch that kind of stuff at night to stimulate your mind like that and stimulate your body while it's supposed to be at rest. So those are other habits. At night, do you have to have a dream? Do you smoke at night? Do you read at night? Do you meditate? Do you exercise at night? What time do you eat? What's the latest that you eat at night? Do you just not care? Do you eat in the middle of the night, even if you're hungry? What kind of stuff are you eating at night? Is it sweets? Is it salty stuff? Is it fried stuff? Are you calling stuff out and eating out, or are you actually cooking inside of your home? All of those are habits that are going to matter for your future, and that are actually going to be that matter right now, presently, because if, especially for example, if you're eating late at night and eating fried foods late at night, for some people that it gives them heartburn and acid reflux the next day. So it's like I said, things that you do right now affects your future, but that's more so of your near future. Let's see. Habits, coping mechanisms. What kind of coping mechanism? What are your habits when it comes to coping with fear, with worry, with excitement, with a death in the family? How do you cope with that? Something big happens, not even to you. Let's say something big happens to somebody you know or somebody very close to you. How do you cope with that? How do you cope with stress? You know, what kind of activities do you do? Do you do activities? Do you have healthy ways to release? Healthy ways to release. Those are some things that you want to think about and discuss in your head. And you also, like, when you think about these things and you write them down and you read through them and you get thinking like, okay, I don't want to do this. I want to do this better. I want to do X, Y, and Z. Make sure you're writing those things down. So it might help if you make it like a chart, like get you a big piece of paper, and then on half the paper you write down what's going on right now, and then the other half of the paper is kind of like the counterpart where you write, okay, well, I want to do this to counteract that. That might be a lot more helpful, and for visual learners, that will probably make that a lot more clear for you and easier to grasp, most definitely. Action versus procrastination. This also falls under habits. So, how much of a action oriented person are you? Or are you more lazy? Do you procrastinate? Are you one of those people that say, I have to wait to the last minute because I get things done better and I get them done quicker at the last minute? Are you that type of person? That means you like adrenaline. You're probably an adrenaline junkie. And that probably has some kind of meaning behind it why you're an adrenaline junkie. Maybe something in your diet has you being an adrenaline junkie. Maybe that was the root of it, and then it turned into something psychologically, something mentally, and it might have turned into something emotionally. You know, that kind of, it all has a rapid domino effect. So you might want to find a root problem to that one, being an adrenaline junkie, because you shouldn't be waiting to the very last minute to do something, get things done, because in life we know that anything can happen at any time. So if you wait to the very, very last minute, it may work sometimes, it may work most of the time, but it's gonna be that one time or that two or three, four, five, 6 times that you're gonna find that waiting to the last minute is just it's not the way to go for you. So be honest with yourself when it comes to things like that, and really think, sit there and think, or sometimes research. If you don't know what to do to counteract something, research and see what somebody else did. Watch videos or read articles and see what other people did. And if it, screams out to you, then do it. Try it. Because what is it going to hurt? It's not going to harm. It's only going to make you better. That's the thing when it comes to self improvement and self development. It only makes you better. You don't harm yourself. So you may be working a little bit slower, you know, but you'll still be progressing. That's the thing. So that's it for habits. Remember, we're doing personal analysis. So the first part we kind of just talked about where you are presently, like emotionally, mentally, physically, and then we talked a little bit about diet and being honest and transparent with ourselves, and then we kind of got into habits. So now we're going to talk about environment. And some people don't even think about environment when it comes to improving yourself. Your environment plays a very big role, and it may include a few things that you wouldn't necessarily consider it environment, but it actually is. So the first thing I have is your living environment, your outside, your inside, outside and inside of your household. How is your living environment? So how about we focus on the inside first? So who do you live with? What is that dynamic like? Is it family? Is it friends? Is it a roommate? Are you guys strangers or something like that? Who are you living with? What does your space actually look like? Is it cluttered? Is it more organized? Is it more minimalistic? Is it clean? Is it dirty? Does it just need a little tidying, but it's not necessarily dirty? Or is it dirty like, yeah, you need to do a full cleaning in there? Because that also has something to do with you mentally. Because a clean space creates a clean mind. And it allows things to flow through your mind. It allows your creativity to flow through your mind a lot more easier. If you don't believe me, look that up. That's actually a study. It's a scientific fact. So you might want to think about that when it comes to it. But what is your home like? Because that plays a role on clearly your mental. Also plays a role on your physical as well. Um, Before we get to physical, mentally, sometimes when you have a more cluttered home or more dirtier space, or maybe too much chaos going in the home, too much going on, too many emotions flowing in the home, it begins to affect you mentally, which manifests in affecting you physically too, because your mind works with your body. And sometimes when your mind is on an overflow and it's getting worn down and it's getting really stressed out, it makes your body react in different kind of ways. Like maybe it makes you start to feel pain. It manifests as disease, infections, um, and you shouldn't be going through that anyways, regardless. So that's something that you really want to think about and be honest with yourself and figure out how to fix it. If you don't know how to fix it, remember, reach out to somebody else who is able to help you fix that. Now, outside of the home, what is your environment like outside of the home? That is going to play a huge impact on your life and on your character development, period. Because tying hand in hand with inside of your home and outside of your home, that shapes who you are. It just is what it is. Like, that is a literal fact of the universe. Whoever you hang around, whatever your surroundings are like, that is going to portray in your life right now, and it's also going to portray in your life in the future. So your outside environment, wherever you live, wherever your home is it what you want? Is it what you want to manifest? As long as it's what you want to manifest, then you're okay. Wherever you're at in your journey, if where your home is on the outside, I'm talking about how it looks, how it feels, the type of people in your neighborhood, the type of stores in your neighborhood, the type of cars that drive around in your neighborhood, down to that, down to the animals. Let's say your neighborhood has a pond and have ducks, alligators, all of that. Is it the type of neighborhood that you want to live in? If it is, perfect. You're good on that aspect. If it's not, then that's something that you need to think about. You need to figure out a way to get up out of there. You need to get to the environment that you want to be in, because like attracts like. You have to get around those type of people. If you want to be successful, you need to get around an environment that successful people would be in. um, and that's us. A little bit like food too. Like I think I watched this video about this woman, and she was saying that if you want to be something, you need to get closer to it. So you need to make a list of the places that rich or successful people eat at and the places that they don't eat at, the stores that they go to and they shop at, the stores that they don't shop at. You don't eat at those stores that they don't eat at. You don't shop at those places they don't shop at anymore, because that's not what you want to be like, what you're going there for. You're not going to find your kind. Same way. Same thing that we're talking about right now. So if your environment inside of your out home is not what you want to manifest for your life in the future, it's time to figure out a way to get on up out of there. And where there is a will, there is always a way. So thinking and figure it out. The people you frequent, the type of folks that you go around, it's kind of like what we were just discussing. I remember this man said, show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you what your future is going to be like in 3 to 5 years. And that's facts. Because who you hang around, you literally start taking on some of their personality. It's almost like you start taking on their problems, because where energy goes, energy flows. So if you hanging out with somebody that got a lot of issues going on mentally, they not there, they have no emotional intelligence at all whatsoever, they crashing out every 5-10 seconds, like that is going to manifest in your life as well. Maybe if you're not the one that's doing it, you're going to start manifesting people around you to start doing it, because you were hanging around this person and that energy transferred on you. But there is a way to combat that as well. Transmute. And that's going to be another topic another day. Transmute, transmute, transmute. If you know, you know. If you don't, start looking it up and plant that seed, because we are going to revisit that. Like I said, get around people you want to be around. You don't have to know them. Get around them. Go to the places they go to. Hang out around the places they go out to. You don't have to go to places where you have to spend money either. You can go to free places, parks, especially dog parks. If you go to like a very elite area, like a very wealthy area, and you go to a dog park in a wealthy area, who do you think you're going to be around? And they out there with their pets, and that's usually their downtime, so they're more open, more chatty, and you get to fellowship with them. You get to be around the type of people that you want to manifest in your life. Remember, like attracts like. Birds of a feather flock together. So get around that energy. Where energy goes, energy flows. Dog parks, um, pet shops, pet stores. That's another one. In a certain type of area, go to a pet store. Most people nowadays have pets. So do the elite. Grocery stores, same thing. These are places where you spend well, you don't have to spend money at a grocery store, but you shop anyway. So shop in those type areas where you want to be. Don't shop even let's say you live over here, but the elite area is way over here. It's down the street and up a hill. Drive down that street and up that hill and go to that store on that side of town so you can start getting around those people. So you can get around those vibrations. So you can start magnetizing and attracting what you really want. It's harder to attract it when you're not in it. I mean, it still comes when you're not in the area, and that depends on your mind up here. When you're not in the environment that you want to be in, you can still attract what you want. It just takes a little bit longer depending on right here. But when you are mentally there and you put yourself in the environment that you want to be in, it comes right together like a magnet. Environment also includes what you watch. That stuff manifests into your life. What you watch, what you listen to, the songs you listen to, what kind of lyrics are they talking about? I listen. I love music. I love all kinds of music, and I love my rap. I love R&B. I love my hip hop. I love my reggae music. I love it all. But sometimes my culture can be a little aggressive, and they can be the songs, not them. The songs are a bit aggressive for my lifestyle and a little too vulgar for where I'm at right now in my life. Because yes, I used to be there. I used to sing the songs from word to word, all kinds of songs, and some songs make you feel some kind of way. And if you know, you know. Like if you know that song, "Nuck If You Buck" by Crime Mob. "Nuck If You Buck" by Crime Mob. When you play that song in a certain environment, it makes you feel different. Songs carry frequency. Frequency is the same thing as a vibration, it's the same thing as energy. So when you get in that type of environment, you can imagine what manifests in that type of place. So be careful of the type of music and the lyrics that you're listening to. That's something that you have to do a detox from. People too. You have to do a people detox and the stuff that you watch. Because the things that you watch and you listen to, it's going inside of your brain. You're implanting it. You're planting seeds inside of your brain. And it seeps into your subconscious. So even when you're not consciously thinking about it, like when you're asleep, it's still going on inside of your brain because it's in your subconscious. And depending on how much you listen to it or how much you thought about it or how much it stimulated you, it's in there even deeper. So you must be careful and you have to detox from certain things. Start eliminating, start reducing, just get it on out. Places you go, that also falls under environment. What and we kind of hit that and we kind of discussed that before. What kind of places you going to, what kind of places you frequenting, what kind of people are you around, what kind of activities are you doing? That's another thing. If you're trying to manifest something in your life, manifest those type of activities or the type of activities that those type of people would be doing. That's the easiest way to get to what you want. That's the easiest way to build your character. That's the easiest way to start not just rewiring your brain, but to start rewiring you, your body, your actions, your aura. As we have a page flip. The next part we're going to go over under self-analysis is more so of a personal analysis. So this includes how you carry yourself. So how do you carry yourself? What are some of your habits when you carry yourself as a woman? Are you more feminine? Are you more soft? Are you more quiet? Are you more introverted? Are you more extroverted? Are you more loud? Are you more vivid? Are you more creative with how you interact? Do you understand that there's a time and a place when you go in certain environments? Are you a person who can turn it off and turn it off, or are you always on? Are you more reserved? Are you more to yourself? Do you rather sit in a corner to yourself, not really, bothered? You're not bothered, and you're also not bothering anyone, and you don't want anyone to bother you. Are you that type of person? This is something you have to think about for your character and your self development because we're thinking about our future self. So, what type of character do you want to develop for your future self? Do you always want to be that person that's sitting in the corner? Do you always want to be that person that's always on and can never turn it off? Once you find a good sweet spot, then it makes it a lot more easier to navigate this aspect. Once you find that sweet spot of, I know how to turn it on, I know how to turn it off, I know how to portray what I want to exude, I know how to give off a certain energy of what I want people to receive, is what I mean. Once you find that sweet spot, that's what you have to think about. How do I get to that part? How do I still feel how I want to feel and act how I want to act, but in a way that's for my better good and in a way that's appropriate for my environment, depending on what you're doing? Because, sometimes if you go to a formal place, if you go to a funeral, come on now, you shouldn't be turning up drunk, high at a funeral, loud, belligerent. It's not appropriate. That's what I mean. Your reputation. How do others see you? What do others say about you? What did your reputation speak about you? Yeah, what does your representation say about you? You know how when you meet people, sometimes they put on their representative. You don't meet their real person. You don't meet the real them yet. Who's your representative? But who's your real representative? Who are you? How do people see you? How do they portray you? When they talk about you, what do they say? Those things matter because your reputation goes a far ways, especially when you become a business person, a businessman, or a businesswoman. Your reputation speaks before you even speak sometime, because there may be a room and there may be a group of people discussing something in a room. There may be some type of problem and someone brings you up as a solution to that problem. And because of your reputation, they don't really know you. They may not have even met you. They may just have heard of how you work or your service or how you are. Your reputation spoke for you. So the reputation is something that you must think about. And there's the difference between being worried about what others say about you and having a reputation. Your reputation is kind of like, it's more of your character, and for a lot of people it's your professionalism for your reputation. And just as a person overall, we don't really want to be around somebody who's shady, somebody who's always up and down. We kind of want to be around somebody that's like this, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to your reputation, you kind of want to sit down and really think about how others see you. What are some things that you've heard over and over again about yourself? Where can you find some truth, and how can you improve on that? That's being honest with yourself, taking some accountability. It's very hard to do at first, but the more you do it, it's almost like a muscle. The easier it becomes. Your mindsets. Is your mindset lack or abundance? This is falling under your personal analysis. So, are you a person that sees the cup half full, or are you a person that sees the cup half empty? That's what this is asking. Because there is a difference between the path of someone who sees abundance and someone who focuses on lack. Whatever you choose to focus on, you are always going to receive that. That is a universal law. What you put out, you get back. What you vibrate, that same thing matches and comes right back to you. Like a what? Frisbee boomerang effect. There it is. So if you're a person who focuses on lack, that's probably why you have it in your life. It doesn't have to be financial lack. It can be a lack somewhere else. Character lack, intelligence lack, an emotional intelligence lack, a lack of manners, because a lack of common sense. Common sense is not so common nowadays. So, this is something that you definitely want to explore, because we all want to move to a mindset of abundance so that we can attract abundance, and so we can attract abundant people and abundant things and feelings of gratitude and reasons to experience more abundance. And that goes well into your self development, character development. self mastery as a whole, period. Are you a goal oriented person? Do you set goals for yourself? Hmm? When's the last time you set a goal? When's the last time you achieved your goal? What are some of the last three goals that you achieved? They could be short term, long term, doesn't matter. But when's the last time you set a goal? When's the last time you set a real long term goal and you actually, followed through on it? I believe a long term goal is okay. How does this go again? I believe a short term goal is anywhere from, 0 days to 6 months, maybe 9 months, 6 months. And then a long term goal is anywhere from 6 months and up. I think that's how it goes. I don't know. Whichever. When's the last time you actually set a long term goal, you followed through on it, and felt good about it? Goals are very important. Goals are necessary. Goals are vital. Goals are how we survive life, get through life, how we get more, how we manifest more. You know, goals are like the compass of life. It's going to direct you, it's going to allow you to get to a definite goal, because there's a difference between a goal and a definite goal. We're going to discuss that in just a moment. So that's somewhere in your life where you want to sit down and you want to write out some goals. You want to write out at least start with 3 to 5 short-term goals and 3 to 5 long-term goals. Be honest, be transparent. It's only you and you. Not even you and the therapist. It's just you and you, baby. It's you, and whoever you believe in. So, yeah. Next, self-love and self-care. What do you do for yourself? How do you feed and fuel yourself? Because you can only be good for others when you're good for yourself. And that goes for everybody. Single people, married people, people with children, it goes for everybody. So, how do you feed yourself? How do you love on yourself? How do you pour into yourself? How do you relax? How do you find pleasure in yourself? That's something that you really need to go through, and it could be self love, can be anything. Self care can be anything. It just depends on you. Self care could be reading a book. It could be setting time to talk to a family member or talk to family members. Like for me, um, I have a certain time on the weekends, on Sundays, just from 3 p.m. all the way to 6 p.m. That's my family friend time. I make sure either I'm calling or I'm actually going face to face to go see, hang out, and get that time out the way, you know, have a good time. So, how is it for you? Uh-oh. Um, Self care could be meal prep for the week. It could be going out and getting your pampered. It could be getting your feet done, a facial, your lashes, wax. It could be that kind of self care. Self care could be taking a nice warm bath, nice spiritual bath. Ooh, a nice goddess bath. That sounds good. Self care could be eating well, eating clean, making sure that you focus on eating whole foods and real foods. Self care could be anything. It's whatever makes you feel good. It's what makes you feel better. Now, how do you pour into yourself? You really need to be listing out. Let me see a good number. For self care, you need to be doing at least, let's start with three self care things for yourself per day. That's per day. So it could be from the smallest thing and it could be to the biggest thing. Pick three and start doing that per day and watch how your life change. Watch how more pours into your life. And because you also have to understand that self-love is the frequency of love, period. So you'll receive more love from yourself. You'll also receive more love for others, and you'll have love to send out to others. And it all comes back around. Once you send the love out to this person feels it from you, so they send it back to you. Not only do it they send it back to you, but they send that love out to somebody else. That somebody else do the same thing, send it back to that person who sent it to them, and they send it out to somebody else. It's one whole domino effect. So you need to figure out some self-care ways and get more into self-love. I believe we have one more under personal. Yes, spirituality. Um, your intuition. How do you connect with the universe? How do you connect with your inner divine? Everybody has that connection, but you have to find it. You have to get to it. You have to want to get to it. You have to want to discover it. You have to want a thing in order to get it. You have to have a goal. Goals are things that you want. So Do you want that connection to yourself? Do you want that connection to your intuition? Do you want that connection to your inner divine? How do you have that connection? How do you fuel that connection? When do you make time for it? What are some ways you do it? Do you read about it? Do you meditate? Do you do yoga? Do you take classes? Do you have a mentor who teaches you about it? Are you more of a religious person? Do you go to church? Do you read your book? Do you read a Bible, Torah, Quran? How do you feed your spirituality and connect it with yourself? How do you keep yourself grounded through your spirituality? You have to take some time to go explore different ways of that. Go on the internet, look it up, watch videos about it, watch movies, and figure out some releases and ways for you to connect to your own spirituality. Find that for yourself. Spirituality is completely different from religion. And you know what I always tell people? I say, religion gives you a set of rules. It gives you a long list of rules and regulations to abide for. If you do not abide for those rules or regulations, you are chastised, you are looked down upon, and sometimes they point the finger at you. Spirituality. Spirituality is more of a very open space like the ocean. It's when everything is thrown at you and, you know, you pick and choose what's true to you. You pick and choose what you want to do, what you want to be, what you want. You pick and choose. But again, it's just all thrown at you. And then there's also another level, now that we're talking about this, called consciousness. And consciousness is once you get to that place in life where you connect not just to yourself, but you also connect to your environment that's around you fully, you become more conscious. So at this point, everything is about how it connects to you and how you connect to it versus spirituality, where it was just like, oh my God, every single thing is coming at me. Wow, this is an overload of information. This is a lot. Geez, wow, ooh, ah. It's very much so an exploration, spirituality. Consciousness is when you find what you want, it's more defined. That's your goal, your definite goal. Your goal is spirituality. Religion is a great starting point. And I don't mean that to anybody who is a part of any kind of religion. I just mean, in the most simplest terms, you are giving a set of rules or regulations to abide by. You know, you don't get to pick and choose. That's all I mean. You don't get to choose your own path. You kind of are given things to know and given things to learn and to have. You don't get to say, well, I'm not too sure about that. I might want to explore something else. You don't have that choice. That's all I'm saying. All right. Mental. Remember, we're still under self-analysis. You see how far we've gotten? You see how much we've gone through? Exactly. So, mental. What do you do for your mental health? How do you find healthy ways to release? So, when you get stressed out or when you are overwhelmed and you feel like there is an overload in your brain, how do you find a way to slow down, to just relax, be happy, and laugh and let your hair down? How do you relax? Do you relax? Do you not think it's important to have downtime? You do understand that there is absolute beauty in just doing nothing sometimes, especially for people who are always on the go and always doing something. Like it's very relieving, not just for your body, but mentally. Your brain is relieving to just like relax and in a sense almost turn your brain off. If you can, some people can't, but if you ever can get to that level, how do you find your way to do that? Do you go out in nature? You know, do you go running? Are you an active person? Do you find some joy in a sport? Are you a gym head? Do you find it in doing certain type of activities like crafting or some sort, arts, music? Find ways to release. Your mental health matters. It's very important. It's at the top of the tip of the tip of the tip. Your mental health is up there. So you must find ways to release and relax. And also do things to fuel your brain and fuel your mental health. So not just downtime and relax time, but what things stimulate your brain. Do things that stimulate you, stimulate your creativity, because creativity opens up a whole new vortex for a lot of other things when it comes to professionalism, when it comes to thinking, when it comes to actually putting action to things, when it comes to sexuality. Your creativity stems a lot of things. So we definitely want to do that. How do you process criticism? When you get constructive criticism, do you accept it? Do you like it? Do you cry? Do you feel some kind of way? Do you get angry? Do you get offended? When you get criticism, do you get offended? Because a lot of the time, the reason you get offended because there may be some truth to it, or sometimes you get offended because you're so worried about what others think about you. You can't worry too much about what others think about you. You have to find the truth in things. It's almost like religion. You know how different religions, somewhere in there, they have certain type similarities. It's the same thing here. When people say the same thing over and over, there may be some kind of truth to it. So listen out for that. That's always a great indicator. Never get offended when it comes to criticism, especially when it's coming from some kind of superior, or when you have to look like you're taking a criticism. You have to learn how to block that out and not get so offended. Because a lot of the times things aren't facts. What people say, they're not facts, they're just opinions. And when you really understand that, it makes it a lot easier to get through somebody in your face just throwing stuff at you sometimes, whether it's constructive or not. So find better ways to take criticism. Find better ways to release that criticism and get over it. Like as soon as it happened, even if you get upset, be upset just for that moment and then phew, let it go. Because you want to get that frequency out of your body. You don't want to vibrate through anger. That's just going to invite more anger and angry times into your existence. So you want to get that out, let it go. And then lastly, in different states, what are your reactions and what are your actions? So when you're happy, what do you do? When you're sad, what do you do? When you're depressed, what do you do? When you're upset, overwhelmed, what do you do? When you just chill, what do you do? You want to make sure that whatever you're doing is for your greater good. You don't want to have any kind of habits that are detrimental. You don't want anything that's going to impact you physically, mentally, or spiritually. So, excuse me, guys. So, you really want to go through that and be honest with yourself again so you can make an actual analysis and find different areas to work on. Excuse me. Ooh, all right, y'all. Last but not least, the last part that we'll discuss today will be financial under self analysis, going through your finances. So, now this is the part where a lot of people like to lie, by the way. Remember, the only person you hurting is you. What just flew in there like that? It doesn't help to lie at all. So let's be honest. Let's start with, do you know your monthly budget? Oh my God. This is very important to know. A lot of people don't know their numbers. And this is kind of like getting into business. You have to know your numbers. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know how much you're putting in and how much is going out, how much is being saved, how much is being invested, how much is being wasted. You must know your numbers. They're very important to know, especially when it comes to upping your character, upping your life, and developing yourself as a new individual. Finances is one of those main sectors that has to be analyzed thoroughly, and action has to be taken immediately and effectively. Because you know what else? There's different parts of the life that go very much so hand in hand. Environment, like your inside environment, how you keep your house, how you keep it clean, how your space is organized, a lot of the times go hand in hand with your finances. Remember how I told you if you keep a clean house, you'll keep a clear and a clean mind? It also plays some kind of role in your house of finances as well. Just notice people who have a lot of money what do their homes look like? Let's think about that. That's just the first, that's the obvious, right? That's the obvious. But I'm telling you, I'm going to research some more about this and I'm going to come back to y'all with this fact. There has to be, I think there's something that plays hand in hand with your finances and your environment. I'm going to find out. I'm going to let y'all know. Let me write that down because that's something there. I think there's something spiritual there too. I'm going to find out. Okay. So, if you know your monthly budget, perfect, good. You know how to navigate through life. Seriously, you know how to navigate through the months, even when things come up that are unexpectedly. You know how to get through it because you know your numbers. You know, I can rob Peter to pay Paul. I can move this over here. I can take this from this. I can liquidate that. You know what to do, how to do it, and you have options so that when big things come up in life, you know what to do. Budgets also allow you to be more um, financially sets. Like they allow you to be more financially stable because budgets, they give you the portion of money that's your free money and the portion of money that should be set aside for savings and investings. Now those savings, that's another time, another topic for another time, but you know you should have different type savings. You should have an emergency fund. That's just like $1,000 set to the side. You should have a 3 to 6 month savings just in case, put down anywhere. And then you should have just a regular savings account that you just put money in that whatever you need, if you need something out savings, you can go in there and get it. Those two, the emergency savings you don't touch and the 3 6 you don't touch, but that other savings that's just sitting there, that's the one that you want to touch if you need to. You shouldn't have to. And then oh my god, I completely forgot where I was going, guys. We were talking about a monthly. Oh yeah. So your budget, your savings is set. The budget that you have set for your investments is what's going to grow you financially, not just grow you financially. We all know when you get some money, you look different. People look different, they act different, they talk different, they are different, their aura is different, they vibe different, they shine different. So we got to get our money up. We got to start investing our monies and stuff that makes sense. And there's so many different kind of things out here to invest in. And that is going to be a topic that's going to be for a separate video because there's many things that I've researched and some things that I have tried and am trying right now myself. So I'll have those facts to report for you later too. But yeah, a budget. Budget is definitely needed. We discussed, are you saving? Are you investing? Um, what is your financial current state? That's where you want to be transparent with yourself. Where are you financially? Are you considered poor? Are you considered one in the middle class, or are you considered one of the elite or rich, wealthy, well off? Where are you right now and where do you want to be? We need to know so that we can see what's in between so that we know what type of steps and techniques, what type of moves needs to be made so that we can get to the point where we actually want to be. When you get paid, what's the first thing that you do with your money? So this kind of goes into habits. When you get paid, yeah, what do you do first? Do you pay bills? Do you buy yourself something nice? Do you just spend your money and say, well, it'll come again. I'll get it back. I don't care. This is a once in a lifetime thing, so I'm going to do it. Are you a saver? Are you somebody who has to pay everything? As soon as I get my money, I have to pay everything and then you don't have anything less? Are you one of those people who think like, when I get my money, I'm going to take my money and do something with it to flip it really quick so I get more money and I'll have the money that I had before plus more? Are you one of those type of people? That's what I aspire to be, right? I don't want to just get my money and spend my money or pay bills. I want to get my money and do what I need to do with my money. I work really hard for my money. So whether or not I have bills coming up, I would like to get to a point where if I'm still working for a paycheck, I can take my paycheck, invest in something really quick that's going to give me a very quick turnaround. That means it has to be something that was already set up and in order. Things were already properly placed at certain times so that as soon as I got paid, I do this and we know that it was going to turn around in 2 the 3 days right in time for me to be able to pay my rent and the rest of my bills. Those are some things that we want to think about. We want to go through in our mind, because once we put it here and we plant the seed, we're going to always ponder on it. The more you go back to that thought and you keep revisiting it, or when you watch something, or when you talk to somebody, or because we're talking, that's how energy works. We're going to find it again. The more that starts happening, the more it's going to start magnetizing towards you, and it's going to come towards you. So that's what we want. That's the goal. Are you financially literate? Do you read about finance? Do you understand finance? Do you understand how to operate like the one percenters? Do you even know what the one percenter is? Supposedly, there are only 1% of people who are just extremely wealthy on this earth. And they have a certain type of blueprint that they use to operate as. Like a standard general, this is what you do, that's what you do, that's what you do. Do you know about it? If you don't know about it, you need to go research it. We are going to discuss that on another video and get a little bit more in depth about that. But that's definitely something that you need to discuss. I do know a book. No, I don't get paid for this. I'm only giving my references because I know about them, because I've read about them or I've studied. There's a group called Black Wealth Renaissance. I found them, I believe, on Instagram. I believe they're on all social media boards now, but I found them on Instagram, Black Wealth Renaissance, and they created a book called How to Manage Money Like the 1%. I believe that's the name of it. I have it here. I should have had it to show. Um, that book is very informative. It is very easy to read, very easy to understand, and it gives you steps for you to take so that you can start managing your money like the wealthy elite. So that's a good starting place if you want to find somewhere to start. How do you feel about your current financial state? If you're not where you want to be right now, what do we need to do to get where we want to be? If you are where you want to be right now, what do we need to do to get to be even higher and to have even more? Because we should always be progressing in life. When you get to right here, you just right here, you just stay right here, it becomes very stagnant. We don't want stagnant energy. You always want things to flow. You always want them to continue to flow and grow and expand and extend. So you want to think about some ways. If you already got it, think about some ways where you can get it some more. And if you don't have it, we want to think about some ways where we can get it. Period. I want to say that's the last that I have for. Yes, guys. So I have just a couple of points that I wanted to hit with you guys, because I wanted to give y'all some facts for the people who like to fact check. So this first one is coming out the book by Napoleon Hill. It's The Law of Success, and it's 15 principles of success that he developed. If you guys don't know about Napoleon Hill, definitely get into him, do some research, watch some videos, read some articles, read some books about him. He has plenty of them. So back in the centuries, I don't remember when, you'll have to find your own dates, but Andrew, there's two Carnegies, Andrew Carnegie and Dale Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was a man who was popular because he created, he was very wealthy in U.S. Steel, but Dale Carnegie is like the found father or something like that of self-help. He's the one for self-development. So back in the days, Dale Carnegie, I guess he became a man that was very successful, especially how he carried himself, and he just maneuvered in a different aspect, and every single thing that he did is almost as if everything he touched turned to gold. So Napoleon Hill was almost an apprentice, like an apprentice of him, and he studied Carnegie for several years, for decades. Not a decade. He studied Carnegie. Napoleon studied Carnegie for decades to pick up on some of the different habits that incorporated the success that he was able to achieve over the years. And Napoleon Hill created a plan, like a blueprint, a outline of of the different types of areas and steps that um, Carnegie took to gain the success. So before he even wrote the actual book itself, they did studies and experiments. I'm sorry, guys. They did some studies and experiments with, I want to say it was about 200 men. They said they did it with, to see how the information would impact them and to see how it would compare with each other. and it was a 100% success rate. Every single man who took the course, not just took the course, but actually implemented the information that they learned in the course, had success in several areas of their life. And so, thus, Napoleon Hill created this thick behind book that goes in very much depth of each aspect that created success for Dale Carnegie. One of them being pleasing personality, which is the same thing as what we're talking about: self-development, character development, self-analysis, self-mastery, self-discipline. This right here is where it starts. So I'm reading an excerption from lesson 9 called Pleasing Personality. And he says, what is an attractive personality? Of course, the answer is a personality that attracts. But what causes personality to attract? Let us proceed to find out. Your personality is the sum total of your characteristics and appearances which distinguish you from all others. So there's the definition. So your personality is your characteristics and your appearances that make you different from others. The clothes you wear, the lines in your face, the tone of your voice, the thoughts you think, they all are character. So he goes on to say, whether your personality is attractive or not, it's another matter. So basically, it doesn't matter. Whether your personality is attractive or not, it does not matter. By far, the most important part of your personality is that which is represented by your character. By far, the most important part of your personality is that which is represented by your character. So there it is. And that's right there from Napoleon Hill, right from his mouth, talking about his character. Okay, I want to say that's the only one from this book, yep, that I got. And that's from a man who studied this success for several decades to write a whole book, which he still benefits off until this day. Him and his family and his heirs said it. It starts with your character. That's one of the most important aspects of success. Now, when it comes to self-analysis and creating a new person, creating that new person, you know, once you get to your goal at the end and you develop yourself, you basically recreating yourself. There's a chapter in the book. This is the Laws of Power. Show y'all Laws of Power by Robert Greene. And this is Law 25, and it's called Recreate Yourself. And he says, do not accept the roles that society foists on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience. Now, this is the part. Be the master of your own image rather than letting others define it for you. So when you go through that self-analysis, that is what you're doing. Once you get to the end goal, once you develop your character and you start to see yourself change and you start to see not just your mental, but your body following along with it and your spirit just glowing and your aura literally changing, that's you recreating yourself. You literally are recreating your own vibration. You are rewiring your brain and you are rewiring and resetting your aura to create a whole new vibration and a whole new frequency. I better get into it. And then right here, he says, finally, learn to play many roles, to be whatever the moment requires. Adapt your mask to the situation. Be protein in the faces you wear. So he says, learn to play many roles to be whatever the moment requires. This is why you have to develop yourself and develop that pleasing personality that Napoleon Hill had mentioned. Because when you develop a pleasing personality, no matter if that person in front of you, if you favor them or you like them or not, it's not going to matter because you have developed that personality where you could turn it off and turn it on. That's what I meant. Where are you a person who can turn it off and just turn it on? Or are you just always on? When you learn to develop a certain type of personality, you learn how to maneuver through certain things. It's almost like manipulation, because sometimes you can't give everybody everything. Sometimes you can't be the same person. You can't put out the same energy for everybody. They don't all deserve it. So in some situations, it's not wise for you to show your face completely. So that's what it's saying right here. Learn to play many roles to be whatever the moment requires. And this is coming from the laws of power. So, hey, that goes to show you right there, love. And I want to say that's the oh, here we go. This is the how to. So this is how to recreate yourself. He says step 1 is the process of self-creation and self-consciousness. Being aware of yourself as an actor and taking control of your appearance and your emotions. There it is. So when he say learn to have many faces, learn to be an actor, that's what he means. The first step in the process of self creation is self consciousness. Be aware of self. So be aware of yourself as an actor. Being an actor, as in take control of your appearance, your body language, and your emotions, how you think and how you project your thoughts. That's what he's saying right here. Step 2, he says the second step in the process of self creation is the creation of a memorable character, one that compels attention, that stands out above the other players on stage. Did you hear that? Creation of a memorable character. That's the second step of self creation. So once you get done going through your whole journey of self development, you're going to turn into a new person. And if you want to operate by the laws of power, the laws of power is telling you that you need to create somebody that is memorable. Sound like main character energy to me. Somebody who commands the attention, whether you're speaking or not. There's ways to command attention. That's why he said you need to learn through your body language how to command that attention in order to be that type of person. So hey, that's just a thought. That's a thought for you when it comes to recreating self. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. We're gonna talk about procrastination. Now, what kind of word is that? Procrastination. Now, this one is coming from The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. And I'm gonna just read this little excerption. He says, people, as you think yourself to success, that's what you will study. People. You will study people very carefully to discover, then apply success rewarding principles to your life, and you want to begin right away. So he says, go deep into your study of people, and you'll discover unsuccessful people suffer a mind deadening thought disease. We call this disease excuse-itis. Every failure that has this disease, it's in advanced form. The most average person, so he's saying the most average person in the world has at least a mild case of excusitis. Excusitis is somebody who's always making up an excuse for something. They're always procrastinating. So he goes on to say, you will discover that excusitis explains the difference between the person who is going places and the fellow who is barely holding his own. You will find that the more successful the individual, the less inclined he is to make excuses. The more successful you are, the less excuses you will make. The less successful you are, the more excuses you will make. But the fellow who has gone nowhere and has no plans for getting anywhere always has a book full of reasons to explain why. People with mediocre accomplishments are quick to explain why they haven't, why they don't, why they can't, and why they aren't. Now, listen to this. This is the gag right here. Study the lives of successful people, and you'll discover this. All the excuses made by the mediocre fellow could be, but aren't made by the successful person. That's the difference. Johnny is successful. Bob is not. Johnny get things done. Bob make excuses. All the things that Bob complains about, Johnny could complain about the same thing, but he don't. He get it done. That's the difference. So that procrastination, that's a habit that you got to work through to get through. and let that one go and be more of an action oriented person, because the more action you take is going to bring you closer to all of your desires. It's going to bring everything that you want closer to you. It's going to magnetize closer to you. You got to take that action first. You got to take that first step first, though. You know, that's how that goes. So let's hit on goals real quick. We discussed why it was important to have goals. Now, in this book, same book, Magic of Thinking Big, he says a goal is an objective, a purpose. A goal is more than a dream, it's a dream being acted upon. There it is again. A goal is more than a dream, it's more than just a thought, it's more than just saying it. A goal is something that you do actions. You actually have to do for it. He says we can and should plan at least 10 years ahead. You must form an image now of the person you want to be 10 years from now if you are going to become that person. And we kind of talked about that earlier. We do stuff now for the future person. So, us developing our character right now is only going to benefit us to become that person in the future. So, he's saying here that we should plan at least 10 years ahead. So, maybe when you're doing your self analysis, that's a good thing to keep in mind. Do your self analysis for now, and then for 10 years, where do you want to be? And then make a goal how you can get there from now to the 10 years. And that'll kind of give you a guideline on life too, on how to move through and how to navigate life. That's actually a great idea. I'm gonna have to take that one for real. Now, last but not least, y'all, we talked about goals. So let's keep it on goals real quick. This book is called See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. I read this one about 3 times now. Very good book. Very good, easy read. So in here, Ziegler says, with definite goals, you release your own power and things start happening. Now, I want to stop right there and discuss that. With definite goals, a lot of things in life you have to read between the lines, and a lot of things is said through symbolisms, but sometimes there's certain words in there that we just read over, but that's the part, that's the kicker, and this is one of them. With definite, do you know what a definite goal is? There's a difference between a goal and there's a difference between a definite goal. So for example, a goal is saying, I want to go to New Orleans in August and I want to go to this store. That's a goal. It's a good goal. It gives direction. It tells you what you want. It shows your desire. It's a goal. The difference from a definite goal is the definite goal says, I am going. Did you catch that difference? I am going to New Orleans on August 27th, 2005. I take this airlines. This is my seating arrangement. I will arrive at this hotel for my stay from October 27th to October 30th, and it's this amount of miles away from the airport that we're traveling from, and I am going to go to this store on this day, and this is the address, and this store, and that is a definite goal. Did you see that difference? First of all, how you worded it. I want and I am. There's a very big difference between I want and I am. I want is more wishful thinking. It's hope. I am is it's declaring, it's saying right now in the constant. It's making it more definite. I am going to New Orleans on this date, this time. These are all of my plans. It's more, you got more details, more plans because you planned it out because you were saying, yeah, I'm going for real. And this is exactly what I want to do. You know what? Even if you don't have a ticket yet, like you don't even know how you're going to go, you don't know how you're going to get off work, you don't know how you're going to buy your ticket, even if you don't know, all you have to do is start. You write down a definite goal, put in all those details, all those things that you want to do, and watch it happen like magic. That's another way of manifesting. Another topic for another day. And then this last part, he says there are 7 different type of goals. All right, y'all, catch this. Write it down. Physical, we've discussed. Mental, we've discussed. Spiritual, we've touched on. Personal, we've touched on. Family, we didn't discuss as much. Career, we've discussed. And financial. Those are the 7 different types of goals. So when you do your self analysis, you want to focus on those 7 types of goals so that you can be that person. And what we said 10 years from now. Lastly, but definitely not least, this is the last thing I have on habits to go ahead and fact check y'all on. This is same book. See you at the top. Ziegler says, when you choose a habit, you often choose the end result of that habit. Good habits are difficult to acquire, but easy to live with. Bad habits are easy to acquire, but difficult to live with. Did you hear that? Now that goes for any area of life. Good habits are difficult to acquire, but they are easy to live with. So, for example, good habits, getting up early in the morning and going to the gym and working out for at least 30 minutes every single day. It's difficult to acquire because it's difficult to build that self discipline and that consistency and that persistency, and also keeping that energy and going to the gym every day. And if you go to the gym every day, then that means that you should be eating well and you should be eating your supplements as well. So it takes a lot for that type of lifestyle, but it's easy to live with because guess what? In the long run, you don't have a lot of physical issues going on, nothing, no sickness manifesting in your body. You feel good, your knees are good, your joints are good, mentally you're good, you release. That's a healthy way to release any kind of negative or low vibrations that you may be having or experiencing. So it's very easy to live with that. But you see those bad habits, oh, those are easy to acquire. You get hungry at 12:47 a.m. in the morning and you decide to go run down the street to Burger King. Oh, well, they're not open that late. You decide to go run down to a 24/7 McDonald's and get you a number one with extra Big Mac sauce. Yeah, that's easy to get it real quick too, very convenient. And you get it like that. But in the long run, what happens to your body? What happens to your health? What happens to your mindset? What happens how you feel and how you look? It affects your confidence, your self-esteem. It's a domino effect. So habits. And that really is self-analysis. Self-analysis is really just looking at all of your habits in every single area of life and figuring out different ways to improve on that. So guys, that is the first discussion that we just had for self development, for character development, for self mastery in total. This is where you start. You start with self. And really have to take an honest and transparent analysis of your life and your lifestyle in order to determine where you are now compared to where you want to be in the future. And all you have to do is just fill in those gaps by writing those steps exactly how you want it to be, just like I told you, and watch it come to fruition. Because basically, right now, you're writing a blueprint. You're making definite goals. You coming to this video, watching it all the way out to the end. That's you saying this is the goal. You writing down, jotting down real quick. That's the goal. But when you actually sit there and do the self analysis and say, I'm here, but I want to be here, and this is what I have to do to get here, that now becomes a definite goal. That's Duchess, everybody. That now becomes a definite goal. And that is how you're going to manifest it right into your life and right into your fruition. So thank you again for joining this video. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next. And until then, greetings.